Man, if only Jake Bauers was hitting in the 2 spot as opposed to Juan Soto. Right? Because I swear, like, these superstar players who do nothing but increase the team's payroll, they're just so bad for your team's championship odds. So I wish we had a Willie Calhoun batting 2 or Jake Bauers. Because, payroll equals bad. Despite the teams with the highest payrolls, top 10, usually a little higher, despite them being the ones who win the championships every year, let's keep going with, spending money on superstars is bad. Certainly didn't look like it this past weekend. Welcome to the 2024 season, folks. Welcome back to BD4. If you are new here, welcome to BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. And man, are we talking New York Yankees in this one. Because the New York Yankees sweep. They sweep the Astros in their opener. And things just feel different. I hate cliches. I'm never one to find them and try my hardest to use them. But how after what you just witnessed Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, this episode comes out Monday morning, recording it Sunday night. How could you not use those cliches? Welcome to the 2024 season, Yankees fans. This whole series had playoff vibes. Opening day, opening series in Houston against the one team that's just been the biggest pain in the ass over the last 7 years. To be able to, oh man, it was great. It felt like a playoff atmosphere, and it actually sounded like the Bronx Zoo 2.0, at least from watching it on TV. Juan Soto hits that home run, and he's like, man, we'll talk about him, pumping up the crowd, and they're cheering for him. So to go into enemy territory, sweep, 3 of them being comeback wins. I said at the start of the series, I'm settling with the split. I am settling with the split. We take the first 2, and I'm like, all right, can we get greedy and take Saturday? 7-1? And then today comes, and I'm like, all right, well, we won the series 3-1. Regardless of what happens, this was a fuck of a series for the Yankees. How sweep it is. Sweep dreams. This is nothing that last year's team did. They didn't do shit like this. Cliche, right? But Altuve, that ball gets down the line for a double. Runs score. Yordan Alvarez, that ball goes 2 feet further. And the Astros win. This team just has a new vibe, and I think Juan Soto brings that different vibe. And of course, you could talk about all the baseball stuff, which we will. The approach to the plate. These at-bats that he has. He's this big lefty bat in the middle of the order. All that baseball stuff's great. But the man's got a swagger. Something about these Dominican players, man. These Dominican stars, They just got a fucking swagger. This guy's got a confidence, and it is rubbing off on every single one player on this team. Aaron Judge, after these games, when the outfielders get together, looks like he's in love. I'm in love. I'm smiling just seeing him on the screen. I'm like, oh, look, he moved. Look, he picked up his bat. Like, man, oh man. This team just has this confidence to them right now. And you have to hope. I'm not crying. I really have a stuffy nose. But you have to hope that, like, this, obviously this continues, but like maybe these players heard all the noise. Of course they heard the noise on social media last year in the offseason. They're coming out with a different swagger, I'm telling you. I'm already liking what I'm hearing. Usually I'm a talk is cheap type of guy. But, Carlos Rodon, hey, Carlos, how do you feel about your performance as long as my team wins the game? That's all I care about. Juan Soto, how's the ankle feeling? You going to sit out, be precautionary? No, feeling fine. Hey, Glaber, you going to sit? I'm going to play. Alex Verdugo, what do you think about this? We are dogs. Loving these guys right now. Even, shit. Do I jump the gun and say it? Even Aaron Boone hasn't pissed me off yet. Even he's showing a bit of a different approach. Let's talk. Episode 655. Did we get to our intro already? No, we didn't, right? I'm yapping over here. I don't even remember. Let's just get to it again if we already did. Episode 655. Welcome to BD4. The Yanks sweep the Astros in their opener. Let's go. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball. Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
Trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Welcome to the show, everybody. I think we did have an intro already. I'm pretty sure I just went to the intro for the second time. I got lost in my little monologue there. That's bad. I have terrible short-term memory. Holy fuck. I don't even think you can consider that memory. Even Aaron Boone's showing a different approach, right? I mean, in these first few games, man, you're seeing some things that you didn't really see Aaron Boone do in the past. Juan Soto and Gleyber Torres get a little banged up on Friday, right? They played the rest of the weekend games. They played Saturday, Sunday. Guys get nicked up a little bit. Last season, years prior, they're absolutely sitting out one of those next coming games. How about the bullpen decisions? Aaron Boone on Thursday and also on Saturday, riding with the hot hand versus defaulting to playing the matchups. Giving Hamilton 2 lefties in Game 3. Giving Johnny Loizaga 2 left-handed batters, Tucker and Alvarez, in the 7th inning of Game 1, which he retired both. He could have easily chose a lesser pitcher just simply because of the lefty matchup. But he didn't, because Johnny Loizaga has been one of his better bullpen arms when healthy. Ian Hamilton has proved himself to be an effective bullpen arm last year. So he goes and he lets those guys ride out the hot hand. And then, to win the series on Saturday, take 3 games. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, as soon as that game ends, just because I'm a pessimist, well, here comes the Sunday special. Here comes that old punt lineup. We get the death lineup. The only guy who sat today was Anthony Volpe, who was a late scratch because he got the shits from Mexico. But he's fine. They went with their usual lineup. And it's a structured, consistent lineup right now. The main core guys are hitting in their same spots. Now, it's early in the season, obviously. It's the Houston Astros. So is he going to do this? We'll see how that holds up. But, the fact that it's series 1 of the year and he's already prioritizing winning over rest, which is something they haven't done in the past. In the past, they've went with this whole extended spring training approach. He's letting Stroman throw 100+ pitches. Guys have gotten hurt with their extra cautious philosophy in the past, regardless. So I'm hoping that they're going to shift to this, let's just fucking play these guys anyway approach. It's awesome. The Yankees just swept the Astros in 4 games on the road to start their season 4-0, which means the Astros, if you can't do math well, have 0 wins in 2024. So, how sweep it is. I want to jump into the recaps. So let's do that when we return from our first break here on BD4. Let's get to our recaps.
Hey there, thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Episode 655 of the podcast. The Yankees win game 1 of this series 5-4. It was Nestor Cortez going up against Framber Valdez. Bottom of the first, Houston's starting the season on a 3-0 note. McCormick and Diaz pick up back-to-back singles, and by the end of the inning, it's 3-0. Bottom of the second, it's 4-0 when Myers goes deep off of Nestor for a solo home run. We'll fast forward to the top of the 5th. This is when the Yankees start their comeback. Soto, the RBI single. His first as a Yankee. Rizzo, the RBI hit by pitch. Volpe draws a walk with the bases loaded. It's 4-3 Houston. But the top of the 6th inning comes. Oswaldo Cabrera goes deep off the Houston bullpen. Solo shot ties the game at 4. Top of the 7th you come and you get Alex Verdugo. Just sack flying. He's laughing about it. Hits the ball in the air. Sack fly. It's 5-4 Yankees after 7. Now, goddamn, bottom of the 9th comes. Holmes is in. Faces Dubon, gives up a single. Alvarez singles with 1 out. He got 2 on. Tucker singles. But Juan Soto fields it. He makes an accurate throw home. Dubon is out. They review the play. I don't think it was conclusive enough, so the call stood. If it was ruled safe, it probably wouldn't have been ruled out if they challenged. But because it was such a close call, you can't overturn that because it's not conclusive. And so the Yankees win game 1 of the series 5-4. The Bats put together 5 runs on 8 hits, 2 extra base hits, 9 walks, struck out 10 times and were 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position. Against the lefty Framber Valdez, they scored 3 runs on 5 hits, walked on him 6 times, and that was across 4 2/3 innings. He was working the 2-seam sinker, whatever he calls it, getting ground balls with it. You know, the early double play balls were brutal. They were very brutal and very reminiscent at the time. You know, in the first inning, Soto draws the walk, and then Judge grounds into the double play to end the inning. In the second inning, you load the bases with 1 out. Jose Trevino ends the inning with a double play ball. Fourth inning comes. You got first and second, 1 out. And then Alex Verdugo hits into a double play to end the inning. But then the Yankees found it. They found it with some solid-ass at-bats. They made Framber work for it. He lost the zone. And then they eventually got to the Houston bullpen. On the night, the Yankees had 171 pitches that they saw. That was the 3rd most on opening day. I absolutely loved what I saw in Game 1 right off the bat from Volpe, Soto, and Oswaldo. I thought they stayed in the zone. Volpe went 1 for 2, RBI, 3 walks. Soto, 1 for 3, an RBI, 2 walks. Oswaldo goes 2 for 4 with an RBI. I thought the bats figured it out. Nestor Cortez got the start. 5 innings, 4 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, let up a home run, and got a no decision. Yeah, I mean, he struggled early. Houston was feasting off that fastball. Didn't really go to the slider until later. The 2 lefties early on, I was hoping he would take advantage of them. He put them both on base. You know, Nestor, lefty pitcher against a right-handed lineup, concerned me. But his command was off. He was missing high. He was getting behind in the count. But he found it. Something clicked, and he settled in and retired. I think it was 12 of his last 13 batters that he faced. So it was a bend, not break outing for Nestor Cortez. You go to the bullpen, they combined for 4 innings, no runs, 8 hits, 2 strikeouts. Put some traffic on, but they got the job done, and they got some help from their defense. Lasagna, 2 innings, no runs. Hamilton, an inning, no runs. Holmes, 1 inning, 3 hits, but no runs because of the Soto throw. So, yeah, I mean, to the fact that this game had the makings of a punt game early on, Nick Birdie was warming up in the pen in the first inning, and then to figure this out and just win. Awesome. So that was Game 1. Once again, a big 5-4 victory. Game 2 on Friday. Night game. The Yankees win this one 7-1. This was Carlos Rodon versus Christian Javier. Bottom of the first inning, Bregman singles off of Rodon. 1 run scores. No scoring until the top of the 7th. Oswaldo rips an RBI single. Soto draws a walk to bring in another run, and it's 2-1 Yankees. And then the 8th inning comes, and the Yankees just break it open against that bullpen. Volpe gets an RBI off of fielder's choice. Pena makes an error. Houston got really sloppy at the end of this game because the next at-bat, Austin Wells gets the sac bunt. He gets an RBI off it when Mushinski makes the throwing error on the mound. And then Oswaldo, a 2-run base hit to really put this one out of reach. 6-1 Yankees. Top of the 9th comes. Stanton hits his solo home run. It's 7-1. And then, Houston figured, well, we're making enough mistakes. Let's make one more. And Alvarez makes a dumb mistake rounding first base to get called out for the double play when he was in fair territory. I mean, Houston was just careless all game. And so the Yankees win 7-1. 7 runs on 11 hits, 4 of them extra base hits, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts. They were 2 for 9 in scoring position versus Christian Javier. No runs on 4 hits, 6 strikeouts across 6 innings. This is a Yankee killer, man. You know, he has shut them down before, as we know. But he's good. He has a filthy, absolutely very unhittable at times, literally unhittable, filthy fucking fastball slider tandem. I mean, Stanton looked brutal against that slider. But when he plays that slider off his heater, it's tough. But the Yankees got to the pen. Oswaldo Cabrera finishes with 4 for 5 on the day. Double, 3 RBIs. Juan Soto, 3 for 4, a double, an RBI. Austin Wells, an RBI, a double, a sac bunt. Makes his season debut in good fashion. And then Carlos Rodon, 4 1/3, 1 run on 5 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. No home runs allowed, 87 pitches thrown, got the no decision. Like Nestor, this was very much a bend, not break for Rodon. I thought this was an important start for him. Need him to get off to a good start. His location was very off in this game. You know, his location was not there. There was a lot of contact on him, a lot of hard contact, and he just didn't ever seem to get into a rhythm. And that was all last year's Carlos Rodon problems. And that's concerning to me. You know, last year it never felt like Carlos Rodon was comfortable on the mound. It never felt like he was ever to get able, that he was ever, let's try that one more fucking time. It never felt like he was ever able to get into a groove. Good God almighty. It never felt like he was ever, am I going to have to cut this part out? No, because it's late and I don't feel like editing. So, it never felt like he was ever able to get into a groove. No stuttering, no voice cracks. But no, like, listen, it's not gonna be something that that calms me down until I see him put together a legitimate start. Can he learn to be effective when he's not dominant? He's a very high energy guy. You know, when he's on, he's pumping his fist, and he can't really do that when he's grinding through a game. He loves going to that fastball, but his fastball, he was missing spots with it. He was missing his spots with the heater. It was uncompetitive, and the slider's unable to be effective because the fastball was off. So he needs that fastball. He needs to start, when he's throwing that fastball for strikes, he's able to play the slider off of it. He likes going the fastball up, and then he likes going the slider away. Fastball up and into a lefty, slider away. But he wasn't able to go to that sequence as much because his fastball didn't have the command that that he wanted it to have. He had to work really hard in the 3rd and 4th innings. A lot of traffic, hard hit balls, and found the cutter. He found the cutter that he added in this past offseason a little bit later in the outing. But yeah, like, he didn't break. You got to give him credit for sticking through it, and maybe last year's Rodon gives up more than just 1 run there. And I got to say, the fastball velocity was promising. It was around 96 to 98 consistently. And it had some ride to it. So that's a promising sign to see that he looks healthy and his fastball's back up in the mid to high 90s again. Because that's his pitch, and everything works off that heater. So, yeah, 4 1/3, 1 run, not great, but it could have been a lot worse given it's the first day that he's been pitching since he gave up 8 runs without recording an out, right? And then the bullpen in this game, 4 2/3 innings, no runs. Nick Burdi, 2/3 of an inning. Weaver, an inning and a third. Gonzalez, a third of an inning. Ferguson, an inning and a third. And then Clayton Beater pitched an inning, no runs. He got the 9th, made his MLB debut, and then got sent down. This was the Apple TV game. I don't like those people. I thought the pregame diversity hires were terrible. Didn't know what they were talking about. They were talking about Houston as if it was this dynasty. They kept using that word, dynasty. Weird, because I don't consider 2 championships a little spread apart to be a dynasty. One of them not even being a real championship. So that was odd. They, the way the MLB is just sweeping that whole thing under the rug, and they're talking about them like they're cool again and they never did anything. It's so odd. But who cares? Because they're irrelevant now. Because of us, the Yankees. And then I thought the play-by-play crew, I had no idea who any of those guys were. It's this random crew. And for some weird reason, they were kind of playing the Oswaldo Cabrera journeyman out of nowhere gets hot thing. And it almost sounded like disrespect. It was weird. But as garbage as their crew is, I gotta say, I like the format. I love the picture quality. It's super 4K. It's got this futuristic look. And they added in an option for alternate broadcasts. You could listen to Sterling, or you could listen to the home broadcast in Houston if you're a Houston fan. So they added that option. But yeah, it was not my favorite. And then Game 3, which I guess we'll transition to that was on Fox, which the Yankees won this one 5-3. It was Stroman versus Hunter Brown. Bottom of the second, Stroman lets up a 2-run double to Dubon. Third inning comes, Rizzo hits into a fielder's choice, run scores. It's 2-1 Houston. Fifth inning, Alvarez rips the RBI. But Volpe makes an error at shortstop. Stroman makes an error on the mound. So run scores, and it's 3-1 Astros. But the seventh inning comes, and Oswaldo Cabrera, not done being Babe Ruth, slaps a 2-run home run over the wall. And then Juan Soto gets a slider a little bit outside, and he slaps it the other way. And Houston's little short porch gives Juan Soto his first New York Yankee home run. 4-3 Yankees after 7. Eighth inning comes. Volpe slaps the solo home run. Don't know why I'm using the term slap so much, but it's 5-3, and that's the final score. 5 runs on 8 hits, 3 extra base hits, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts, 0 for 6 in scoring position. Against Hunter Brown, the Yankees went for 0 runs, struck out 5 times in 4 innings. But again, Houston's bullpen, their middle relief pitching is bad. So Rizzo had an RBI against their pen. He hit into a tough error off of Abreu's glove, which helped us. Soto goes 2 for 5, solo home run. Oswaldo 1 for 4, home run, 2 RBIs. Volpe 2 for 4, solo home run. Glaber, Judge, that were each on base 2 times. And then Wells goes 1 for 2, a couple of walks. The bullpen, 3 innings, no runs. Hamilton goes 2, Holmes goes 1. And then starting on the mound in this game, well, this is where we go to our first cap tip of the year. We are tipping our cap in this episode to Marcus Stroman. Let's give him the first award off the mound of the season. Marcus Stroman in this game, 6 innings, no earned runs, 3 runs, 4 hits allowed, 2 walks, no home runs, 101 pitches thrown, and the win, the W. Yeah, I love the fact that he was allowed to go 101. Again, usually this is extended spring training for Yankee pitchers. Not this time. And I thought he looked good, man. I thought he looked very smooth out there. He's got this very calm presence on the mound, Stroman does. And it never wavers. He's just consistently just relaxed. It's like he's on 0, and he's just cruising. And he's kind of the opposite of Rodon, where even though this wasn't the perfect outing for Stroman, his body language just made it feel like that. You know, he was digging into his bag. He was mainly sinker cutter, but he dipped into it. He went splitter, he went slurve, four-seam slider. You know, he has a very deep arsenal of solid go-to pitches. And he was playing around with different ones and mixing and matching, and he was pitching. He was out there pitching, playing a game. And his whole game is based off getting ground balls. That's why he goes to that sinker. And he got a lot of them. He's got good movement on those pitches. And he did a good job clipping the edges, staying away from the zone. And he got a well-deserved win. And I tell you, man, I think Yankees fans are going to fucking fall in love with this guy. I think he's going to have a big year. I think all the nonsense on social media means absolutely nothing. I listen, I know he's gotten into some beefs with people and all that shit. I watch the Yankees to watch the Yankees. There is a reason we don't have names on the back of the jerseys. Win games for me. And I think he's going to do exactly that, and he's going to bring that swagger. But I thought Stroman was great. The Yankees win Game 3. Game 4 of the series. Let's get to it. This was today. The Yankees win 4-3. Schmidt went up against France. Top of the second, the Yankees get on the board early this time. Trevino, an RBI bloop single, 1-0 Yankees. Bottom of the third, buzzer boy goes deep. It's tied at 1. Top of the fourth, John Birdie, who was in for Volpe, RBI base hit, 2-1 Yankees. Top 5, Aaron Judge picks up the sac fly, 3-1. Sixth inning comes. Clark Schmidt was doing so well, but he gives up a double to Kyle Tucker. That scores a run, and then Diaz, with Jonathan Loaizaga in the game, picks up the RBI single to score the inherited runner. And it's 3-3 tie game all of a sudden. But the top of the ninth inning comes. And when I tell you I had the time of my life watching this inning, I did. I was nervous as ever. And then I just went to the ultimate high. Trevino somehow doesn't beat out that ground ball. He is a catcher, but Jesus Christ. But then Glaber reaches. Glaber steals second. And then coming up to the plate, Jesus Christ himself on Easter rises up and picks himself up an RBI base hit. And all of a sudden, the very scary Astros, the terrifying Josh Hader, not so scary and terrifying after all, it's 4-3 Yankees. Bottom of the ninth comes. Clay Holmes is in, folks. So hang on tight. Jeremy Pena, the number 8 hitter, and then this Caratini guy, backup catcher, the number 9 hitter, pinch hits. They both pick up back-to-back base hits with no outs. Altuve comes up. He rips one down the line of third, and John Birdie makes a hell of a play of the game at third base to get the stop, gets the out, steps on third. Next at-bat, Yordan Alvarez against Clay Holmes puts up a pretty good at-bat, finally gets a hold of a sinker, I think it was, and he takes this ball to dead center, what felt like was, 700 fucking feet. I thought the game ended. I got off my seat and was just about to walk outside and just ponder. But no, I look back at the screen and that shit is caught by Aaron Judge. Thank God. Verdugo at the end making the great play off the Kyle Tucker line drive to end the game. Kind of making up for his adventures that he had in game 2. And he makes that catch coming up in left field. His reaction, I love their reactions at the end of the game. Verdugo's going nuts. Soto's jumping. Fucking Clay Holmes is smiling. Man, the vibes just feel great. And the Yankees win 4-3. 4 runs, 10 hits, 2 extra base hits, 2 walks, 12 strikeouts, 3 for 8 in scoring position. 3 runs on France across 5 2/3. Soto was 3 for 5, RBI. Rizzo 2 for 4 with a double. Everyone else had 1 hit except for Judge and Oswaldo. Judge did get the RBI, and Oswaldo did draw a walk. Stanton doubled in this game. Clark Schmidt 5 and a third, 3 runs, 7 hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run, 75 pitches, and a no decision. He was good. I feel like most of the time he struggles in the beginning of the game, but he was on point right from the get-go. He was pretty much in rhythm. And then late in the game, as he got through the order the third time through, that made no sense. But you know what I'm trying to say. He slowed down. Third time through has kind of been an issue for him as well. So it's like usually the first inning where he struggles, or it's the end. But yeah, he third time through, he gave up some hits and some runs. But I liked it. I liked how aggressive he was. He was attacking left-handed batters. And he looked sharp for his first outing. This is what I expect from Clark Schmidt. Just keep the team in the game. And that's exactly what he did. And the bullpen, 3 2/3 scoreless once again. Lasagna was not good. Let up the inherited runner, 3 hits. But Ferguson was fine. Birdie was fine. Holmes not good, but he escaped it. At the end of the day, the Yankees win. Couple things I didn't love in this series. We'll get through them real briefly. But first, we're going to head to our second break. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 655. Be right back.
You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to episode 655 of BD4. Yeah, just a few things. Like the defense, I thought was a little shaky this series. Maybe Soto Soto had one interesting play. Again, Verdugo had himself an adventurous game 2 on Friday. Oswaldo made a bad throw, had issue with the transfer. Same thing with Volpe, bad throw. His transfers are an issue. That's been something he had problems with last year. Rizzo had problems with that scoop throw from Volpe. I think Glaber had an issue getting to a ball. Stroman had the throwing error yesterday, and then Trevino today made a throwing error to the outfield. But whatever, I think the defense is something that's going to improve. We actually have guys playing in position, so that's awesome. The veterans, Stanton and Rizzo, struggled a little bit. Rizzo he showed life. It's more he's just got to get his timing down. And Stanton, I don't know, man. I'm concerned about the bat speed. It still doesn't seem like Stanton can hit the heat anymore. Fastballs continue to give him problems, and breaking balls are something he has not as much issues with. And it was a tough series for Gleyber Torres, too. At leadoff, he wasn't great. Kind of a lazy, lethargic start to the season for him. That's a term you hear often with Gleyber. He'll have these stretches where he's just dead at the plate. It seems like he was dipping again, getting under the ball, a lot of pop-ups. Showed a little bit of life at the end of the series. He got on base. He had some good base running in the series for a shocker. He went first to third. He stole the base at the end, so we'll see. But he's got to get it going. And, they hit into some double plays. Most of that was from the first game, but there still were a few times in the middle of the series. I expect improvement there just because we're a little younger and we have a little more speed. And we have guys who hit a lot of line drives. Soto, Verdugo. So maybe put guys in motion more when certain guys are up that make contact and hit some ground balls. That can avoid that, but we'll see. And then, the bullpen, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into that stuff already. They put a lot of traffic on the bases. I think they're going to be nails. This bullpen is always reliable, knock on wood, every year. The only question is Clay Holmes, obviously. He's kind of got the fan base 50-50 all the time now. I don't know if we're going to touch on that later. We might. The umps were kind of inconsistent, right? And then the only thing I can say about Boone that I didn't love was today. Not giving Johnny Loizaga the clean inning. But whatever. I'm willing to fucking toss that aside. Who cares? But no, this was a fucking hell of a series, man. I'm like still high on these vibes. Like, I've been telling people all along, all winter, like, doubters of this offense, I don't know what you're like. The Yankees are going to bang. They're going to hit. They have a good lefty-righty balance now. They haven't had this shit in so long where they can go left, right, left, right. Their approach just seems sharper. They are seeing pitches. They're still hitting for power. They had 5 home runs. They drew 22 walks. That's 5.5 a game. They were playing small ball. A lot of singles in this series. A lot of singles. A lot of bloop hits. Some bunting. Sac flies. Putting the bat on the ball just to move a runner over. Right? That's not going to go down on the box score. Gleyber Torres steals that base. Smart base running from other Yankees. It's a deep lineup. You don't need Aaron Judge to produce to be relevant right now. Like that was a big thing last year. But in this series, funnily enough, you take away Judge's numbers, the Yankee bats are better. Like, take Judge's stats off of it. The Yankees' stats improve offensively because Judge was 2 for 16 in this series. And the Yankees in this series scored how many runs? Like, they were good offensively. Soto, Volpe, Oswaldo, Wells, Rizzo, even John Birdie. Just imagine when Aaron Judge does get hot. I just hope he's not hurt. And I wouldn't even say Juan Soto's hot right now. He's singling right now. Like, wait until he starts hitting those 450-foot fucking bombs. The depth in this lineup is something that's not talked about enough. Fuck. On opening day, you had Oswaldo and Trevino 8 and 9. My brother and I found ourselves complaining about, we're like, oh shit, 8 and 9 of the order are up this inning. And then I look up and I'm like, wait a second. Do you remember last year? Like, how good of a feeling is it that we now get to complain about the 8 spot and 9 spot in the order when last year we were complaining about like the 5-6 spot? That's such a positive. It's such a privilege to be able to complain about the 8 and 9 hole now. I couldn't believe it. We just looked at each other and we fucking laughed our ass off. Like, oh shit, we're spoiled. Like, this could be a lineup that spoils us. It has potential to be really good. And the Yankees, a staple of their good offenses in the past has been scoring early. Again, they didn't score early a ton. They didn't score a first inning run all series. They did get one in the second today with Trevino, but the Houston bullpen, their weakness is middle relief. And the Yankees got to them. And they got to Hader late. So they got to the pen. And I'd rather be clutch. So that was awesome to see. But yeah, these bats are going to hit, man. Like, anybody doubting these bats? No, don't. They are going to fucking hit. It's a good offense. It's a good lineup that's going to produce a great offense. I think the young kids look good. They had themselves a really productive series. Volpe, Wells, Oswaldo. They drew 8 walks together. Wells was 2 for 6. He had 3 walks. He got on base 5 out of the 9 times. Put together some excellent plate appearances. Down in the count 0-2. Fouling pitches off. Extending at-bats. I thought his defense was fine. He was blocking the balls well. He had a couple of really good blocks to prevent the runners from advancing. Third from going to home. Second from going to third. in maybe game 3. Earlier in the series, Houston was running all over him, so look out for the arm there. But, hey, just keep giving this kid right-handed pitchers and let him mash. I want him getting all the righties. And, of course, some lefty, too. You don't want him to just be, as a young player. But I thought his at-bats were great, and I am excited for Austin Wells. I've let that be known before. Anthony Volpe, wow, has Anthony Volpe been looking different? He was 4 for 10 with 4 walks, a home run. He put together some excellent at-bats. A completely new approach that he's been working on. Right, he's staying inside the zone. He's not chasing any garbage outside the zone right now. You saw him spitting on pitches. And the swing looks a little bit flatter. Just a little bit flatter. And that's going to help him out. So it was very, very refreshing seeing him do what he did. And Oswaldo Cabrera, man, like if I gave Soto, I'm going to give Soto in a second, his props. Oswaldo, I don't want him to go overshadowed. He was 7 for 16 with 6 RBIs, a walk, and 2 home runs. This is a kid who came up in 2022 towards the end of the year, was just so electric in the outfield, making big plays. He was very good at the plate. He had some big home runs, obviously the playoff home run against Cleveland. He was so exciting, just the attitude, the energy. This is a guy you want to be good. Every Yankees fan wants him to be good. Just because of the way he carries himself. He plays with such joy. And last year he had a down year. But it seems like he tweaked some things. He got hot at the end of spring training, and he's got a new load, a new stride. Last year, I saw this on Twitter. I wish I knew the account. But basically saying, no, he's got a new load. Last year, he went with a toe tap on 2 strikes. This year, he completely took out the leg kick just to improve his timing. I was trying to figure out, I was on Baseball Savant earlier, if it had anything to do with the launch angle. It's basically the same launch angle that he had last year, which is drastically different from his rookie year. But I guess it's just the new leg kick. And the swing still has enough uppercut on it to elevate the ball and hit line drives. And we saw that shit. Hitting home runs on 2 strike counts against off-speed pitchers, like that game 1 slider that he mashed. He had issues with 2 strikes last year. You threw him off speed, wasn't going to hit it. And he was crediting Juan Soto. So that's good. I'm sure he's been taking notes from that guy. And he's going lefty-lefty more. He's trying to do less right-handed at-bats. I have a feeling that he's going to completely abandon it eventually, which whatever. But yeah, he looks pretty good lefty on lefty. I mean, he went lefty-lefty on Hader in this series. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, let's go to Juan Soto. Let's tip our caps to Juan Soto, who in his first Yankees series is already getting my tip of the cap. Juan Soto in this series to open up the season in 4 games was 9 for 17. 9 for 17, which is .529 average. It's a 1365 OPS. He had a double, homer, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 2 runs scored, and 13 total bases overall in this series against the Astros. I love him. Love him. I mean, his approach to the plate is just fucking uncanny. It is unlike any hitter I've seen before. I thought Judge was very good with drawing walks, and he is very good. But Juan Soto, something about this dude, like he's got an eye. This dude is probably better than 99% of the umpires in this game. I don't know how much that's saying, but he has got an eye on him. It's an uncanny approach. Like, I thought Robinson Cano had good plate coverage. This guy's got that down too, times 10. He'll get to any pitch he wants to get to, but he's not going to stray out of the zone. He will not chase. He won't chase. What he'll do is he will spit on that pitch and then look directly at you, smile, laugh, do a little bit of a finger wag or a tap on his thigh. Like, he'll fuck around with you, man. And it is so fun watching his at-bats. He's got this confidence because he knows. Like, he takes 2 pitches and they can both be strikes. It don't matter. He's like, all right, well, I know what you have now. I know what you're working with. I know what's in your bag. I know your patterns. I'm just going to fucking draw my walk, or I'm going to put the bat on the ball and somehow be productive, even if it's not a home run, a double. It'll be a single, ground ball through the gap. He's going to get on base because that's what he does. He's been on base now 37 games in a row, going back to last year. The dude is uncanny. Uncanny's the best word I can think of. He's got a fucking uncanny approach to the plate. I am telling you, I'm 28 years old, so I haven't seen a ton of Yankees teams. Obviously, I wasn't old enough for those 90s teams, but like, you know, I'm sure there are some fans who can advocate for Juan Soto having a hell of an approach that matches legends. This guy's already in the Hall of Fame. Well, not technically, but he's already going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's 25 years old. There's a reason for that. There's a reason he's got a championship. There's a reason he's already being talked about as a guy who's going to get $500 to $600 million, maybe even fucking more, for 15 years. It's because he's that fucking good. He's just that fucking good. Taking a slider the other way like that. The at-bat that he had against Josh Hader today, already the at-bat of the season right now. 2 of the best going at it. And he outduels him. This guy is not afraid. He's got such a level swing. I cannot wait to watch this guy play baseball for my favorite team this year. And he looks pretty athletic too. He didn't look terrible in the outfield. We'll see. But you can hide him in right field at Yankee Stadium, and I think it'll play up a little bit. Let's go to the bullpen. We'll tip our cap to somebody in the bullpen, and that's going to be Ian Hamilton, who had himself a good year with the Yankees last year. I thought Ian Hamilton was good. He was very good. Here are the numbers on the series. 3 innings. Excuse me. He tossed 3 innings, allowed no runs, struck out 3, allowed 1 single, threw 34 pitches in 2 games, and got 2 holds. Pitched game 1 and game 3, the 28th and 30th. His slider, changeup slider, Slambio, whatever the fuck he's calling it, it's a nasty pitch, man. It works. And he's got this terrifying presence himself. He looks scary. Like, this guy is a guy I would like to be the closer. Obviously, Clay Holmes he's been a guy who puts a lot of traffic on. He has trouble with command of that sinker and the slider sometimes. And I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But Ian Hamilton's a pretty good pitcher. He's a pretty good pitcher. I think that's it, man. I love the new Road Grizz. I'm wearing one. This is a Babe Ruth jersey, but it's the new Road Grid. Now, the Fanatics thing, we could talk about that. You know, that's a different story. The cheap material, very thin. The fucking picture of Rodon sweating through that thing, like, wow. And then the Yankees don't have names on the back, but like the small font is terrible. The whole Fanatics thing I get, but I really like the new Road Grays. No piping around the New York, like the white outlining is gone. I love that look. I think it looks very crisp. And that's why I got one of these. I love it. I love the look of it. And I'm going to get me a Soto one. I don't even care about the risk of him leaving because he's not going to. 15 years, $700 million. I don't even give a shit. Yeah, it's got this old school look to it, and I love it. Just looks good seeing it on these guys, especially Soto. That's it, man. Like some housekeeping stuff. Nick Ramirez was DFA'd at some point during this series. DJ LeMahieu, we got news the other day, broken foot or fracture, and he's going to get re-imaging in 2 weeks. So I don't care. He's irrelevant to me. I'm fine without him. I wasn't planning on DJ being important this year because I think they have enough depth. And Clayton Beeter was demoted after game 1, which... yeah, you want to stretch him out as a starting pitcher. My only question is, like, why was he here to begin with if you were, I don't know. But, yeah, stretch him out as a starter because that's what he is. No use in keeping him here if you got Luis Gil going tomorrow. And Luis Gil's tomorrow, folks, Arizona. So it's going to be those 9:30, 10 o'clock games, but it's going to be a fun one, man. Defending champs. We get Houston and the defending champs, or defending National League champs, right off the bat here in 2024. So 4-0. 4-0. So let's see what happens. Hey, we'll get to our final break, and then we're going to wrap this thing up with our trivia. Stay with us. Be right back.
If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right. Welcome back to the show, episode 655 of BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Again, I'm your host, RJ Carbone. I think that's it, folks. So let's wrap this up with our trivia question of the day, and then that's going to be that. Okay, so for this episode, in episode 655 here, in May 2006, Yankees lefty Johnny Damon recorded his first hit against the Red Sox. Which pitcher was it against? In May 2006, Yankees lefty Johnny Damon recorded his first hit against the Red Sox. Which pitcher was it against? All right, so one final time. In May 2006, Yankees lefty Johnny Damon recorded his first hit against the Red Sox, his former team. Which pitcher was it against? Folks, that's all we got. That was fun. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the 2024 season. Welcome to this podcast. Thanks for tuning into BD4. Maybe you are watching over on YouTube. Maybe you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But you can watch this YouTube. You can watch the video version of this show on YouTube or Spotify, as well as listen to it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to give us a 5-star rating and review if you are on Apple Podcasts. But thank you so much for tuning in and listening or watching. I appreciate it as always, and I will see you all in the next show. Probably talking Knicks in 5:56 or 6:56, and then we'll be back to the Yankees after the Arizona series. Let's go, man. 4-0. The Yankees start with a sweep in Houston. God damn, that felt good. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!